Welcome to the Be Active podcast with Daniel. This podcast is dedicated to fitness and well-being, where my guest and I share our motivations and stories. Regardless of your fitness level, we believe that our experiences can help you on your fitness journey. In today's episode, I'm here with Daniel. Daniel, please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Yeah, so I'm Daniel Sellers. I am been a personal trainer for the last year and a half. Over the past 5 years, I've been on a journey of health, fitness, self-growth, learning, that sort of thing. I've been learning a lot about, I started out learning a lot about nutrition, health, fitness, and then led on to mindset, psychology, sort of learned to master my emotions so that I can just get more out of life and that's all come together into sort of a holistic thing of just better mental and physical well-being, and that's that's my sort of journey.
Wow, sounds amazing. How long you been working out then? What was your first of all, what was your spark?
So my spark, initially, I actually was, in my teens, I became heavily involved in drugs and alcohol, and that got quite out of hand, but I took some psychedelics, and on those psychedelics, I had some sort of spiritual experiences. It felt like, and that led me towards sort of spirituality, which led me towards new diet, more of a plant-focused diet. So I tried a plant-focused diet. I started practicing meditation. I started exercising. Started going to the gym. I started into running. And then I started feeling really good inside. And when I started, I got this moment where I just felt well-being within myself. And when I felt that, it was I didn't want to throw that away. I also felt I think I had a morning where I'd woken up after going out for some drinks, feeling hungover, feeling in a lousy state, and I just thought to myself, it's not fair for me to live like this. It's my vibration that affects those around me.
Okay.
I also thought about I was advocating plant-based eating, I wanted
Healthy
to do that at the
lifestyle.
time, and healthy. So it's I can't let my habits, destroy that. And it's also I wanted to invest more money into my health. I was buying expensive healthy food and stuff and going to the gym and this and that. It's I can't be putting all my money, spend all my money on alcohol and drugs, coke, ketamine, all sorts of different things, I don't want to spend money on that. I wanted to invest in health and fitness. So that was my spark, that started my journey.
Wow. So you mentioned that you're a personal trainer. So how did you actually get to that? So let's say you had all this that puts you into that more fitness journey that would make more sense to you as well. So when you invest in all your money and effort, and then you basically just blew it by taking the drugs. So you tried to do there better, from my understanding, and then started working out. Yeah. So how was it for you as a beginner as you started working out? How long you been actually working out in total from then till now?
I guess it fluctuated. I did start at the gym, for a few months. I made some good progress, and then I stopped the gym for a bit. I started doing running. Eventually got back into the gym. I had a child in that process, so there was a bit of a up and down phase. But then got back into it, and then I looked into becoming a personal trainer. I just finished a nutrition course, so I did a nutrition course, and I thought that makes sense to do personal training. Why
Okay.
not do that? I like promoting the whole healthy lifestyle thing. So I thought, well, it's personal training. So I just signed up for an online course, did the course. I'd already been training at Pure Gym, and I spoke to a couple of people about it, and you could do business
Okay.
there and
All right.
stuff. So after a while, I worked at Leisure Centre first. So I worked at Leisure Centre for a period of time, only 8 months. And then I just went, I was in Skegness at the time there, but I committed to come back to Lincoln and set up a PT business in Pure Gym.
Okay.
But what was the main question there? How long have you been training?
Yeah.
How long have you been training?
Yeah.
So
And take it in total,
yeah,
including
so
your PT and all that.
it varied. There were phases. If you say consistently gym training for the past 2.5 years, I have been, but there were some gaps before that. You know what I'm saying? So I started 5 years ago, but there were some gaps
But
there.
consistently,
But
you've been focusing on that.
consistently focusing on healthy lifestyle and fitness, wellness, 5 years.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty admirable, as you mentioned, from going with that struggle to being personal trainer and working out for such a long time. Respect, honestly. As you've been working out for such an amount of time, what have you actually personally struggled with? Because I understand that everyone come from different places. You know, some people adopt certain habits easy in the easier way. Some people struggle more with diet. Some people more with the sleep. And there are all this that basically bring up your health in one in terms of the sleep, diet, exercises. What you personally struggle most with, whether at the start or over the years that you found yourself.
Yeah, I had a period of time where my sleep decayed just because I had a child, and yeah, there was that. And I was also trying to do my PT course. I was literally getting up really early to do that. I was also in a not very nice relationship as well. So it was
All
like
right.
I wasn't really like my sleep, stress levels, I say, weren't optimized. I guess that led me on the path of learning that stuff and struggles. There was that. There were some times where now setting up my PT business where my
Mm-hmm.
consistency has dropped a little bit. So I've always kept coming back, but my sessions declined a little bit.
Okay.
Nowadays, I'm just doing 3 full body workouts a week. It does sometimes drop to 2. I'd say
Mm-hmm.
that balancing between being a parent, having a business, training, this and that. But
Mm-hmm. Wow. Sounds, to be honest, quite difficult. You
yeah,
gotta really encounter all of these different parts, different sides of you that basically is still within your life, right? Like you mentioned, you want to have some fun, you want to have some play, plus family time, plus work, time for yourself, workout as well.
yeah,
Sometimes being on your own as well. I guess like you need some personal time for yourself, personal space for yourself,
yeah.
and then even that doing a training with other people, be there for them, helping them out. Wow, it sounds pretty difficult to be honest, mate.
Yeah, and I think that's really important as well because, like, many people see, it's a lot of people have that all or nothing approach. They think, oh, well, I need to train in the gym 5 times a week and do this and that, this and that. But they really need to find something that aligns with their lifestyle,
Hmm.
so that, it really depends on their goals, what's important to them, and their lifestyle,
Hmm.
and you don't have to just increase frequency, increase intensity. There's other things you can do to optimize that, but,
Hmm.
there's not one approach and there's not one goal,
I like that. I like this
yeah.
kind of. I do.
Not one approach is not one goal.
I really like the idea behind it. As you mentioned, that it really gets to be customized, depends on who you are, what kind of job do you do. You really can go through your schedule, and if you want to optimize, find the optimization. How would you do that, right? Because that's a very individual thing, correct?
Yeah, I think the best way to tell this is just to ask this question, can I maintain this happily for the rest of my
Hmm.
life and be fulfilled? That means, in terms of keeping that consistency up, doing that consistently each week, what are you not doing instead of that? Because if you have other things
Mm,
that you like doing, whether that is spending time with your child, whether
yeah.
that is social time, whether that is self development, learning, working on something else,
Hmm.
business work, maybe journaling, maybe writing, you've got to find a balance because that'll bring much more mental, physical health. You don't need to train 6 days a week. It really does depend on your overall lifestyle. Are you active throughout your day?
Hmm.
You know, if you're not active, if you're not in an active job, then it might be good to train every day. But
Yeah,
if you are in an active job, then maybe 2-3 times a week is actually good if you train at good intensity.
that makes sense. So you could have that time for recovery, whether the mental or the physical recovery depends on your job
You've got
that you
it.
would do
Yeah,
as well.
recovery is always about opposites, isn't it? So you want to be doing the opposite if you've been doing. So if you've been doing mental work all day,
Hmm.
sitting down to a desk, the opposite of that is physical training. That's
Makes
recovery.
sense. Yeah, that makes
Not
sense.
just sleep. Physical recovery is important for
Hmm.
recovery. Physical activity is important for recovery. But if you've been doing physical activity all day, then maybe taking a rest, slowing down, maybe doing some writing, reading, chill, time with family is good recovery.
Hmm.
But of course, it's a priority that you get some strength training in. So if you're not been doing strength training, at least you want to try and hit at least 2 times a week to keep your strength.
Really see that the flip side of both. You know, like you said, you too physical, you put into a little of the mental strength in there, do more of the mental one, and then the other way. So really good to find out what is your side, how it works for you depends on your daily routine, morning to night, right?
Yeah, what's important to you, but what's also what do you need?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone needs different things.
Yeah. Which there comes to personal trainer because what's actually the initially in the core the job of personal trainer then when you've been personal trainer over the years. So what is exactly your function as a personal trainer when someone come to you individual with certain problems? So what does it look like then?
Yeah, so it really depends on the person, but ideally, the role of the personal trainer. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Yeah, so to really find out what their goals are and to guide them based upon their struggles and support them and hold them accountable to achieving them, moving forward with them.
Mm.
It could just be the simplest thing, which is powerful enough, is just the accountability to do the sessions.
Mm.
Some people just need to know that they have to meet somebody in the gym to do the sessions, and it holds them accountable. They can't
Okay.
say no to it, right? For some people, it's just the weekly reminder of their goals, their habits that they need to work on, because it's like someone to review with them. It's easy to say, reflect every week. But that's
Mm-hmm.
easy to forget. It's easy to say, oh, I'm going to reflect every week, and then that habit goes off. But if
All
someone's
right.
reflecting with you every week, what was your water intake looking like this week? How many times did you train? How did the training sessions go?
Mm-hmm.
What were you training at good intensity? What were
Mm.
you lifting? Are you still staying in line with the progression we need to go at?
I didn't expect there to be honest so much into that. Like as you mentioned, you get to think about all these things, all the different aspects. So I think it's definitely a great thing, especially whether you're a beginner or intermediate or advanced. I guess. Do you get most often the beginners or even intermediate people?
To be fair, usually it is for me beginners, sometimes intermediate, but mostly beginners.
Mm-hmm.
I like to get people, into the whole lifestyle journey. So
Okay.
I like to help people to change their lifestyle. People that they're trying to get into it. Maybe they've been inconsistent in the past. I have a client Shirley who was basically she was overweight. She'd been overweight
Okay.
most of her life, and over the past year or so, she's lost 8 stone.
Wow.
She's made a lot of progression, and she is just so much healthier, so much fitter. She's committed to a healthy lifestyle now. I also have another client who she was into rugby,
Mm.
and she just optimized the performance. The performance has gone up there, because I've got her training in a good place. Got the training down so it's consistent, so that she's progressing,
Okay.
and I've made her some adjustments on her nutrition. So before that, she wasn't getting much calories because she was a student, and before that, she was drinking a lot of alcohol. She'd removed that, so I found out that calories were actually very low.
All
She
right.
wasn't progressing because her calories were very low. We increased them massively, and her strength, and she's
Wow.
been training consistently. So yeah, and I have, my client Vince, he's sort of changed around his lifestyle. He's optimizing his eating habits. He's been just gaining strength. He's looking to lose weight, but over the past year, his focus has been on getting confident in the gym and getting, a muscular structure behind, so that when he cuts down, he's got that body composition
Mm-hmm.
behind it.
There is some muscle structure all behind it. So once you get rid of a bit of the fat layer, you can see
It,
the
it also
muscular.
means he feels better in the
Uh huh.
gym because he's able to lift heavy weights, and he's progressed a lot. So.
Wow. Wow. It sounds, to be honest, like very fulfilling job. So I guess, how do you feel when you can see all the people getting their habits and all that? How does it make you feel actually as a personal trainer when you spend some time with them, or do they come back to you as well? Once you finish, let's say, 3 months program, do they come back to you afterwards, or you just let them go?
Tends to be like I don't refer, so they've been with me for like a year, some close to a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Those clients. So the clients that get the results, are the ones that stay usually, consistently, because obviously they've got that rate over time, repetition, consistency, which makes a difference, right?
Yeah, consistency for sure.
The ones that stay longer tend to get more results. Simple as that. But yeah, there's a few clients that have I've gave them a good head start, and they're still progressing.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been with me a couple of months, few months. It's just got them into the habit, and it's given that program structure to what they do. They
Mm-hmm.
understand it. They've learned a lot.
Wow, that's pretty good to be honest. Like especially when you mentioned that you being there as a personal trainer, someone they can come to ask for basically any advice with them. Sounds great that you can have them sort of, from my point of view, sort of as a friend as well. So they get to know you, right? You can have some fun together,
Yeah.
build up the consistency and build a habit. So I'm wondering, when you mentioned to be with your clients for such a long time, do they often fall off a wagon after a while, or how do you build up the habit of the consistency so they eventually don't fail over the long term?
I think the biggest thing is just helping them to associate that this way of living is better. So
Mm-hmm.
I ask them questions, like, how do you feel now in comparison to how you felt before? You know, what does it open up for you? Asking them
Mm.
how it's benefited them. Because if they can really see and associate this way is better, and also giving them the strategies that are much more powerful than the quick pleasures, because they're probably going to get into pain at some point,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when people get into pain, they want to go out of pain into pleasure, right? So whether that's through drinking, through smoking, through eating,
Unhealthy foods as
takeaways
well.
and
Yeah.
pleasure seeking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sitting around watching TV, chilling, comfort, right? So they're going to want to do that at some point. So helping them to see and give them a bank of tools they can use to redirect their focus in that moment.
Okay.
So that's a powerful practice. And then also just giving them the structure. So they have the structure, they have the program,
Mm-hmm.
they know what they're doing with the nutrition. I encourage them to continue learning as well. So encourage them to continue learning, but help them have the structure so that they can maintain their diet quite easily. They can maintain the training quite easily.
Uh-huh.
That helps. The other thing is the ability to manage state, and that's why I teach things like meditation, self-awareness. There are some
Wow.
techniques you can use to change your state in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
recognize it. So I try to teach those things to my clients if they're open to receive it. And yeah, that's the main ways I help them to maintain it long term. But yeah, there are some that slip off, shorter term clients that slip off.
Okay.
Also, but
So when you mentioned the balance, sort of, does it work also when you're helping them in terms of the diet? That, for example, they can have takeaway once a week or such. Like, how much focus they should be on the thing? Can they go sometimes and just have a takeaway? Is that okay as well for you? As I mean, from your own perception,
yeah,
is it okay for you as well?
yeah, absolutely. But it really does depend on the individual. So
All right.
I'll give you an example. If someone and the stage, right?
Uh huh.
So if someone has an addiction, I'll just give an example, an alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
And they have just finished detoxing, cut it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They would go from the mindset of stay away from it. They would go clear, absolutely clear.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, they need to take away their vices, the things that they know they go out of hand with. So a lot of people stress eat, they snack on things. For some people, it's good to take the snacks away for a period of time
Mm-hmm.
so that they can build the discipline, the
All
self
right.
awareness, so they can build in their healthy diet, and then look at they can supplement these things back in if they want to.
A little bit, so they still be under the conscious thought that, oh, I'm gonna have one and that's it. Oh, and not the next day have another one, and the day after you have another one. Let's
Yeah.
say a bit of unhealthy
It
snack.
spirals out of hand for some
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
It's sort of like, you hear about, I mean, I used to be like this. You go to the pub, you have a beer, one after another, after another, after another. JD, 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 cocaine,
Oh
all
my
this shit.
god.
It all piles up, right? So if someone has an addiction like that, or they have that sort of, like they get in the state and they can't get themselves out of it. It like progresses. They want more and more and more and more and
Mm-hmm.
more of that thing. That's
Wow.
where they need a period of absence. I personally, with alcohol, went sober for 4 years. That's how I did it. I went sober for 4 years. Now I can have the occasional couple drinks
Mm-hmm.
because I've got the discipline myself. I've got the motivation. I've got the association with the new lifestyle. I've got a positive association with this lifestyle. It benefits me. I feel more confident. I feel more happy. I feel more clear-headed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually lie, even after a couple of drinks. I notice the effect it has. So I do it for the occasion because it benefits me, like in a family situation, connect
Mm-hmm.
with them a little bit more because they're like heavy on that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, I notice the effect a week later. It does affect my state. So I'm still in questioning with that, but
Okay.
I have it under control as in I can have 1, 2 drinks max, and I'm not interested in having any more.
Uh-huh. Because so you basically know where to stop. It's like, okay, I got it still under control, and there's like, I shouldn't cross this borderline because you know yourself.
I
You
don't
know
even
your
feel like I
limits.
want to. That's the
Okay.
best thing about it. I
Wow.
genuinely don't feel like I want to. I'm like, no, I'm happy with that now. And because I have it occasionally, it's enough. One
Mm-hmm.
beer is enough. It sends me off a bit. You know what I mean? So,
But it's true. For me,
yeah,
it's very similar. Like,
yeah,
because I don't drink it as often, so I'm most of the time working out 5 times a week. And then if I get sometimes to a pub, occasionally, on the beer too, I'm already like, whoa, what's going on? Because I'm really not used to
yeah.
it. So for my body, it's kind of shocked. Like, hey, what you doing?
Saves you money as well.
Yeah, I mean, you get
Yeah.
into the amazing mood sometimes when you relax, chill, and all that. Get tipsy, more funny and sociable with the rest of your friends and such. Even outside, out of your comfortable. Sometimes people are just way too introvert. They want to open up a bit. Alcohol sometimes, I guess, it helps some of them. So if on the beer too, you're already done. Like, oh, I'm done. I don't need more. That's amazing. Like you say, you don't spend so much money as well on it, and it just feels easy, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'd encourage other practices though. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what I say about the other tools, because you don't want to be dependent on. In order to socialize, you have to have a drink.
Yeah,
That's what you
true.
can get to dependency, right? So I encourage other practices, meditation, mindfulness, daily activity,
Mm-hmm.
exercise, um, things that are going to build the confidence. Just going for the goals, learning more, growing more,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. So I encourage that.
That sounds pretty good for you. It's really like it's amazing that you have so much information, even in terms of with the clients and mental overall. So, when you mention all of these aspects, it can sound a lot, especially at the beginning overall. But you've been in this game for a long time. So, how you managing it as a person trainer? Being a father, trying to promote healthy lifestyle, right, and all of that. Having your clients, how do you manage it actually? What's your schedule like? Your regular
Do
even time off?
Yeah, it's a different ball game for me because, like, I think I've always had problems with my organization, so
Okay.
I had to learn to be organized.
All right.
So that has come on. I'd say I'm managing it okay, and the way I'm doing it is just my priority is my physical and mental health. Right,
Mm-hmm.
that's my priority. I think that's the key thing for managing it, having a priority. What is the priority for you, and what's your level of priority?
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever put the things that you want to pursue, things that you want to do, over your mental and physical well-being. Have that as the priority and build. That's the structure.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like people say, fill your cup and use the overflow. I
Yeah. Yeah.
believe in that. I believe, you've got to always do the self-work. There's a quote by Jim Rohn. I don't know if you've heard it, but have you heard of Jim Rohn?
No.
Jim Rohn? It's a quote by Jim Rohn that says, "When it's sunny outside, the roof doesn't need fixing.
Okay.
But when it's rainy, the roof can't be fixed."
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
So it's like you've got to do that daily self work, no matter what. Even if you're feeling like you're good, I'm good. I don't need to do that. I hear that all the time. But it's like then when the storm comes, you're not ready for it.
Wow. Makes sense. That honestly makes sense a lot. So I'm wondering what would be the tools then to stay consistent, as you mentioned. If people struggle with it, what would be the tools that you could offer them to be consistent?
I'd say to be consistent with the overall lifestyle, healthy lifestyle, staying well, keeping the nutrition good, exercising regular,
Hmm.
staying active, and looking after your mental as well. I'd say there are some tools that I think are important,
Yeah. Hmm.
that I've learned over the years, reading CBT books, learning stuff from Tony Robbins and things. There's
Hmm.
some tools that are really powerful, and it's just the tools that you can use to redirect your state.
Okay.
Okay, so your state is absolutely key. Your state, your physical, emotional state, it controls your decisions. It controls everything you do. So if you're in a stress state, you're going to make different decisions than if you're
Yeah.
in a calm, positive state, right?
Makes sense. Yeah, for
So
sure. Find myself out like that
stress is
oftentimes.
the enemy of positive action, right?
Uh huh.
Yeah. So in order to do that, you've got three different ways you can influence your state.
Hmm.
You can prime your state. And priming your state, that means doing your daily stuff that put you in the right physiology, wherever that is. Staying physically active, whether
Yeah.
that's going to the gym, whether that's going for a morning walk,
Yeah.
whether that is running, etc. Right?
Hmm.
So, staying physically active. You've got mindfulness and meditation. Now, what meditation allows you to do is it allows you to just take 5-10 minutes just to let go of everything. It creates more patience. It disciplines your mind. You then start to become more aware of your thoughts, your actions throughout your day.
Hmm.
So it can just bring you calmer, make better decisions, bring more self awareness, right? And self awareness, you can do like journaling, stuff like that.
Okay.
Also, listening to positive input. So, podcast,
Mm.
podcast, music, an audio book, or reading. I just prefer listening.
Me
So,
too. Yeah.
yeah, I like to listen, but no, you could read whatever, but generally positive input. People around you as well. People you surround yourself with.
So
That's
your environment matters a
environment.
lot.
That's also positive input. However, when you consume something, it's something you can directly control. You don't know who you're going to be around throughout the day all the time. Whereas if you listen to a podcast that you know is by someone that you want to be like and you respect, and they are insightful,
Hmm.
taking that positive input
So,
daily.
so basically, making that conscious decision. I'm going to listen to podcasts about self motivation or development and such in self promoting positive way. Basically, you making that decision that should make you probably happier, right? Or positive.
Absolutely. Input, output, right? Input, output. So what you put in, you're more likely to get out.
Mm-hmm.
You're filling yourself with resources, still like that. Filling yourself with resources every day. Yeah. So that's priming your state. There's lots of things you do to prime your state,
Mm-hmm.
and even deep breathing as well.
Wow,
But
never
then
did
you've
that.
got transforming your state, conditioning your state. So transforming your state. Now this is where the tools that I think are really beneficial to people that
Uh-huh.
allow people to get from a state of stress into a good state where they can make a better decision. So let's just say they are stressed on the sofa, right?
Yeah.
And they are thinking about going to that cupboard and grabbing the food. The first key to overcoming that behavior is to kill it before it becomes a monster.
Okay.
And in order to do that, you've got to do the priming things. You got to be self-aware, because if you can recognize it when it's little, it's more easy to change than when it becomes a monster,
All
right?
right.
So kill it before it becomes a monster, catch it early,
Uh-huh.
and then there's a 3-step process that you can use to redirect your state.
Okay.
So when you're in a state of stress, of anger, of anything, right? What it's going to do is it's going to go into a state in your brain called the amygdala. So blood flow is going to go from the prefrontal cortex, the area that you make logical reasoned decisions with. It's going to go to the amygdala, and then it sort of hijacks all the blood, and you can't go into that logical reasoning side of yourself. So when you're in a
Okay.
high stress state and a state of anger, you can't make logical reasoned decisions, right?
Hmm.
So you need to immediately redirect the blood flow. The best way to do that, deep breathing and exercise. So immediately catch yourself, 10 deep breaths, go do 10 burpees, go do some press ups, go do something to get your
Burpees.
body moving. Whatever, to get
Uh-huh.
your body moving as quickly as possible. You need to radically change your physiology. So quickly move, do something, get moving, doesn't matter what, stretch around, jump around, get the body moving, go for a walk outside, whatever. Finally, you can redirect your mind and focus by asking some empowering questions. How can I get back on track today? What do I need to do to look after my health,
Mm-hmm.
mental, physical today? What could I feel grateful for? Because gratitude is like the antidote of stress, right? It's the opposite. Because if you focus on things you're grateful for, you're probably not focusing on stress. So
That's true.
what could I feel grateful for? Could I feel grateful for? Yeah. What could I feel proud about? Just ask some questions that can redirect your focus. So the
Hmm.
3-step process is deep breathing, exercise, questions. Yeah.
Wow.
And then finally, you've got conditioning your state. Ways you can do that. You can do that for learning about your own psychology, which
Okay.
I'm teaching you right now. Yeah.
So
I'm
like
teaching
about
you-
yourself, being conscious about yourself. Oh, if I'm feeling like this in this way, I probably know what's gonna happen after. How do I stop it? So you gotta be really conscious about yourself, who you are. Then, yeah, about your weaknesses. I mean, as well.
Absolutely. And that's just learning human psychology, right? So listening to podcasts and stuff, learn this stuff, learn the psychology. I recommend people listen to Tony Robbins. I listen to him all the time. I've learned so
Mm-hmm.
much from him. And that what I just said, that was partly from what I read on CBT book and this and that. But I've just taught you this now. But if you take that in and try and focus on it and learn from it and try and apply it, that's when you learn it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So learning, you've got doing things that you love every day. Just the daily practice of exercising, bringing in motivation and stuff, right? Positive input. That's also conditioning you. It's starting to change your beliefs, right? So reconditioning you. So that's it. So condition yourself, transform your state, prime yourself. And
Wow.
there's the state. State is the driver of all your decisions.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's so much, to be honest. It sounds really like a lot. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't sound like you can pick up all these things all at once, but it really sounds like a state of progression. So you just gotta start somewhere at some point and then growing from there, really progressing, learning about yourself, fail somewhere, then learn where you have failed, and then again, try again, right? Is that kind of how it works?
That's
I mean,
exactly
you
right.
fail, then you try again, you fail again. Okay, where have you failed this time?
And it comes down to I'm going to quote Tony Robbins again, because something he promotes is repetition is the mother of skill. So if you keep bringing it in, don't bring it in and say, "Oh, I've learned that now." Keep bringing it in until you've applied it.
Okay, so not just like listen to
No
that
matter
stuff,
how
but
long
even
it's-
doing that.
No
Okay.
matter how long it takes, keep bringing it in until you've applied it. Because then it's like, right, if I listen to this every day, eventually it's going to be second nature to me.
Mhm.
I'm going to know, right, I need to change my state. I know exactly what to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, to be honest. I wish there was more people promoting this, because nowadays it has changed a lot in terms of these kind of things. So to me, depends on your background, of course, and mine as well. But I don't really feel like there's a lot of people now promoting that fitness, healthy community lifestyle, so really
Yeah.
helping out each other and such. It just feels more like your personal trainer. How looks like your gym? If you get to a gym, I would imagine you get in there, and most people are with the earbuds. They don't care about anyone else, and to me, most of the time, it feels like that person is in my way doing my stuff, and not being very respectful to each other. How do you perceive that in the gym when you're a personal trainer and you're in that environment almost every day? Then,
My perception of that is it's not really like that, to be honest.
okay.
I mean, you always get someone that's not really like that, everywhere you go. But
Hmm.
to be honest, I think the majority of them seem pretty sound. I don't know if it's because I work there, but most majority of people seem pretty sound. And when you speak to them, but of course, people like to listen to their music.
Hmm.
It's just they don't like the same repetitive music over and over again, like it can be, in gyms.
Yeah.
So they put on their music so they can focus on the workout, do the music. But generally, I have a lot of chats around the gym, but I guess that could be related to the fact that I work there. But I believe rather than thinking about the environment, focus on what
What you can do, okay.
yeah, like you can. It's easy to blame the environment, but are you being proactive? So if you're not being proactive with engaging with people,
Mm-hmm.
how can you expect everyone else to be?
Got you. So if you're gonna have that grumpy face when you're like, everyone leave me alone, how can you expect someone to come to you be like, hey, can I have the machine? How you doing today?
Yeah,
I've been watching you for several months. I see you're progressing. Good job. You can't probably expect that, right? When you put in that perception around yourself, the cloud, like, I don't want to be approached. Is that kind of what you meant?
exactly. Yeah, and also the earphones thing. What I've learned is the earphones don't always mean that they're not interested in speaking. It just means that they're focused. They've got the music on. They want to listen to the music.
Mm-hmm.
But if you engage with them, they might just take their earphones off, be happy to speak. It's just a matter of like they're just folks. They just like that music for the workout.
Got you.
They've got time. A lot of them. I mean, I'm in a student gym, so a lot of them have time to stop. It might be different in a gym that's more like they've got to go in, go out.
Mm-hmm.
There's more parents and stuff because like a lot of them they still need some engagement. But
Mm-hmm.
the students have got a lot more time. No,
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
have
true.
to be careful with that because then I get talking for too long and then I don't get my. I got to stay focused on my work.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like I'm at work, right? I need to remind myself I'm at work. It's good to engage with people, but you can get lost in
yeah, for
conversation
sure.
sometimes.
I bet so, especially you being a personal trainer, basically for you, it would mean potential business as well, right? Or do you actually go and approach? It happened to me a couple of times that randomly personal trainer came to me and say, "Oh, hey, how you doing? I saw you've been doing this, and maybe you could do something better." So, and they try to promote themselves, I was like, "Oh, by the way," I was like, "Oh, damn, here he comes," So it wants my money right away. So
Yeah.
how do you? I don't want to say how do you do that in terms of business, but how do you approach such a situation when you want to just help someone, openly and genuinely you want to help someone?
You have to.
Uh huh.
You have to. The thing is, if you left it to them coming to you, you'd be you'd be struggling financially
Mm-hmm.
because you've got to pay the rent to work there.
Yeah. Oh,
You
so that's how it
you have
works.
to be proactive in going out and speaking to people.
Uh huh.
So yeah, with some people, you've just got to ask them questions. You got to come from a place of genuine caring, and also I think regardless of the outcome,
Mm-hmm.
so you speak to them. I always like to approach it as if I speak to them and they don't want to buy my services, they still get value from the conversation,
Okay.
or it's still an engaging conversation, which people enjoy. So it's like even if you just ask them questions, how you doing? Give them a bit of a yeah, you're doing well. Like have you tried this? This and this. Even if it's saying, oh yeah, give them a tip.
Mm-hmm. Just
Points
for
about
free tip.
because that's the key. In marketing in general, right? You've got to give some free value, and if you give them free value and they're like, wow, that's really helpful. And if you do want extra support, I also have this. I could book you in for a free consultation, go through it,
Mm-hmm.
you dive deeper into your goals and stuff, and then you would offer the services. But the idea is, I like to personally approach from they still get value no matter what.
Mm.
I'm not saying I'm the best marketer.
No, that's
I'm
all
not
right.
saying the best market, but that's the general approach I like to have in terms of ethical side,
Mm-hmm.
not being like, oh yeah, you need to buy, but just like, yeah,
No, Thanks for explaining
Good
that, even
information.
whether to me or people out there, because it might be just my false perception as a person seeing that many times in the gym, and they're like, oh, here it comes. So I really didn't think about certain segments, as you mentioned. I really didn't think about it that much
It
about
does
this.
put people off. It does put people off the gym sometimes, doesn't it? When there's,
Yeah.
you know, the selling,
You're
the
in your
this and
own
that,
zone, and all of a
sale.
sudden, hey, what's up? How's it going, mate? And you're like, oh.
But see it like this: if they don't sell, they can't serve.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't sell to people, they won't make an impact on people's lives because they won't be. The thing is, money is accountability as well. So it's like you pay money. It's like, right, I need to take advantage of this. I need to put my work in. I need to do this. So money is accountability, but also if they don't sell to people, they don't serve people. They don't help people, and they don't help people to change their
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle.
You
And then
basically
people
use a
fall
person.
off because of that. They fall off. So you can look at it in a light of they just want money. They're just selling, but selling is essential to their role to serve people. So
Mm-hmm.
see it like selling is service. Completely fine if you're not interested in the service,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not trying. They don't have bad intentions. They're just trying to do what they're.
It was
Maybe
basically
some. I'm
their
not
job,
saying
what
some
they're there
don't.
for.
Some just in it for the money, but
Yeah.
they're still probably helping people in that process, right?
Wow. But thank you for that, really. 'Cause I really didn't think about it as from that different side. That's the great thing when you're surrounded by different people. Each person that you're surrounded by, you're looking at a thing in one point of view, and that person can come from totally different point of view. It's like, oh, damn, I didn't see that. Thank you for that. I really didn't realize that.
Absolutely. You see things in so many different ways, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And when you mentioned that, is you started your entire fitness journey, and then you became vegan. How did you? Are you still actually vegan? Because I'm asking because I've been vegan myself. I know some people try several times, whether being vegan or vegetarian. Every single every single person
Yeah.
struggle in a certain different way. So are you still actually vegan?
So I was vegan for about 4 years. Now I'm
Wow.
mostly plant based. So I everything I cook and eat generally is vegan, but I do occasionally have things. So
Mm-hmm.
I've got this flexible approach now. I let go of the negativity towards things. On the occasion with my family, I'll have maybe their nice chicken pasta, and sometimes as well I'll go like you give me a bar. It's probably got milk in it. I when I'll get to the shop and if there's nothing good and I want something that's a shake, I'll grab it. And I know it's got milk in. So
Mm.
it's like I've let go of the strictness, but most of the time I'm vegan. I like to eat vegan. I decided that like I tried going back and experimenting would it optimize me and this and that, and I thought, do you know what? I feel better vegan. I feel more energized. I feel better because I feel like I'm for me personally, I'm doing the right thing that I believe in. You know, I believe in if I can and if I feel healthy on a plant based diet, and if I am well on a plant based diet, why not? Like it's good for
Yeah,
the
makes
environment.
sense.
It's good for the environment, and generally it can be good for health as
Mm-hmm.
well. So
So I guess even the placebo effect, like you mentioned, the effect on your mental health, like
yeah,
you going consciously doing this decision, I'm feeling better because I know I'm looking after my health. So it not just that you actually consume, but even that you make the
how I feel
positive,
about it,
positive.
how I
Yeah.
feel about it. I feel positive that I'm somewhat positive contributing to things, right? Making a positive difference
Uh
in
huh.
some way. With my everyday eating decisions, I'm making a positive
That's true.
decision.
Every day. Yeah.
I'm not saying you're not positive if you don't eat vegan, but I'm saying that reducing animal products is good for the environment,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. But I'm not saying you need to go fully vegan. I'm not saying, but I do believe in personally my decision, plant based. I feel like it's a good decision. But
No,
you
it's
know,
fair
who
enough.
knows?
Like you've been there, you've been there, you've been there. You explore different ways. I
Yeah,
tried a similar thing when I was vegan 2 months. Then I was vegetarian for 4 months, and then I
yeah.
was like, I learned something being vegan. I learned something being vegetarian, and now I basically pick the best from all of those for myself and apply it to myself. So I'm not fixed anymore so much to only a chicken or turkey as I used to be. Now I'm getting consciously as well, like you're saying. Maybe every Saturday I'm gonna have my vegan day. Get different vitamins, get different protein, and all the different sources that other basically meat and stuff wouldn't give you. So I'm really trying to make it nice and balanced circle, sort of in that way. So I understand where you come from with that. Even if you're, let's
Yeah.
say, you're trying to go somewhere on the go, and you get to a point like there's a takeaway. Oh, there is a little store shop, I can get in there and I can get protein bar or protein shake, and you chose that with a
Yeah.
banana over going for takeaway and use the excuse as like, oh damn, there's just a takeaway, I'm gonna get takeaway. It sounds difficult sometimes, to be honest, especially as you're in the center.
Absolutely, and I think you highlighted a more important point there. Like, what sort of like made change to me from the vegan side is I realized that there's just a separation as well. It was
Mm.
like you're either vegan or, I mean, vegans can be quite militant. I was quite militant at one point. I believed in vegan was the only way, vegan was, yeah, yeah. But now it's like, there's so many different dietary approaches. I personally get on with this approach. There's so many different dietary approaches, and there's benefits to just reducing. Even if you do one day free of it,
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's benefits to that, but I don't push it on anyone. And I
That's
think
great.
that allows me to even have more influence because it doesn't feel like I'm pushing it in the face, pressuring them.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, well, it's a cool way you can live. But
Mm-hmm.
this, I managed to live it, stay pretty healthy and fit. So then they're like, oh, I might actually consider it, reduce it a little bit. And also on that, I think on the variety side, that can actually, what being vegan allowed me to do was to make a rapid change
Mm.
because I didn't have any focus on my hydration, nutrition, anything like
Okay.
that. I didn't get educated on it. My family weren't into it,
Mm.
and it was just
Makes sense.
alcohol, drugs, all that. So I wasn't conscious of anything. But because I went to a vegan diet, I had to reframe all my eating. And because as well, when you go to a vegan diet, it's like, could I be deficient? So you like really focus on
That's true. Yeah.
optimizing your nutrition. You're like, right, I need to get this all right. Make sure I get the protein. Make sure I get the B. You check in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it forces you to make a rapid change and sort of optimize your eating.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think that can be a benefit for some people of going vegan. It's like even if it's just I'm going to go vegan for 6 months and whatever. Like it's like
Experiment. Yeah.
it forces them to reframe all their eating habits.
Wow. Well, that's true. Like you said, you got to learn totally new stuff, totally different perspective. Actually, especially if you're on, let's say, diet plan, like you said, are you supposed to have 250 grams of carbs every day, or 200 grams of protein, 50 grams of fat? So then how you get it, right? Because it's not what you've been comfortable with. Like me, when I used to eat all the meat, I knew like, yeah, chicken, 24 grams of protein per 100. Easy. I'm just going to smash this chicken and I know I'm getting this. But once I started being vegan, I spent way longer time in the store checking the stuff because I was like, oh my god, why is a lot of protein? So I was really lacking the knowledge. So for me, the entry barrier wasn't that doing it and be proactive, but how to get to it. So I feel like sometimes you probably need a better people that provide you the better understanding and information, so it can make for you more consistent. Because if I really wasn't into it, after a week of trying, I'd be like, oh man, there's so much to do. So
Mm.
maybe if you help people out there more, as you mentioned, I've been vegan, I felt like this. I guess that helps more as well, right?
Yeah, because like when I first went vegan, actually, all I had was like started off with lettuce. Like what the fuck, lettuce, and then expanded that. I was like, right, so I need to eat like sweet potato and stuff. Yeah, and like avocados and this and that. I'm like, yeah, this is great. Like I'm feeling
Uh
great inside.
huh.
Because I'm eating all
It's
these
good.
vegetables and stuff. I'm feeling
Green
energized and
stuff,
this and that,
yeah.
feeling different. Mentally feeling better. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so no, yeah, like it's a challenge for some people,
Mm.
and I guess for me it was like I have to do this, and I changed my identity. Like I am vegan. I looked into everything. I looked into the environment. Looked into the animal side of it. I looked
Wow.
into everything. So it was like I need to do this. I had to do it. So because when you have to do something, you figure it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have done a course in vegan vegetarian nutrition.
Really.
I expanded my knowledge a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, just been eating this way for a long while now. So yeah, generally, I don't track I really don't track everything. I don't track carbs, fats, and proteins. I literally just
Mm-hmm.
eat the protein food in each meal. Eat plenty. Yeah,
Okay.
eat protein food in each meal because the variety of proteins adds up. The chickpeas, tofu, and all that stuff. It all adds up. And I generally just eat a variety.
Mm.
Eat plenty of. I don't starve myself. I eat plenty. I eat well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel still good about yourself, they're still getting filled, and not like, yeah, I'm starving, and then mentally you're going down slowly because you just starving, you're getting hungry. You don't do that. You're still trying to
Yep.
feel happy about yourself.
That was I had that at the start of the journey when I was like I didn't know what the hell to eat. I was literally feeling like I just wanted to eat anything. I like buy something off or something.
Wow.
But then I figured it out, and then yeah, I don't ever get hungry or anything like that. I don't ever feel like I have to cut down like that either. I don't feel like I have to get myself really hungry or
Uh-huh.
anything like that. I don't do I just literally just eat well, train. Yeah, I go for periods where I eat more and maybe bulks me a bit, and I go for periods where I exercise a little bit more cardiovascular wise, and then
Uh-huh.
this and that. But I don't really have to put so much focus on it. I just eat well.
That sounds pretty good to be honest. I really love the way that how you have to nice and balanced in terms of the diet. I really like that. I mentioned there how that actually reflects on your training program. Because what do you do exactly in terms of your training program?
Well, actually, I've been following the Athlete X for the last couple of months from you
Yeah.
sent me across.
Yeah.
So that's I learned a lot there, lot of new techniques and stuff, and but generally I train. I know I have varied throughout the years, but I've done either upper lower,
Mm-hmm.
upper lower. I did push pull legs for a little while, and then now it's just full body, full body, full body, full body, and I seem to get on with that. I like that, but
Mm-hmm.
generally I train at a good intensity. I like to train at quite a high intensity.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I like getting a really like push workout. You know, where you like train at high intensity, rather than like a lot of duration, a lot of different exercises. I prefer
Uh,
to have less exercises, higher intensity. You know,
wow.
but generally full body. Full
So you
body.
don't train like bodybuild, like I want a big on that, or nice slow movements, because we did training together, right? We did workout together. And you
Yeah.
could see me like when you did your stuff, then I did my stuff, and then my friend Lucas did another stuff. Every one of us did it in different way. One exercise and three different approaches totally.
Yeah.
It was just so different. So how do you approach that? Because I know, as you mentioned, you do the full body workout. So when you do workout, you trying to do more with the power as well, not just make it like push through your workout, but even make it quick movements, more explosive, or do you focus a lot on technique and let's say time under tension and such a things?
Yeah, like it depends what exercise, but I don't go like super fast movement stuff. I do some of that, like I do the Athlete Next program, the clean jerks and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. You know, we do that sort of thing. But for the most of my program, I do try to do eccentric, slow down the eccentric and this and that. It really depends what I'm doing because you know I might do a hell sets where 30 seconds rest and go again, or I might do like a good 2 minute rest,
Mm-hmm.
just to have nice heavy set, 2 minute rest, 3 working sets. It really varies, really, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, sometimes 4 sets, and sometimes I'll do like the hell sets, 6 sets, 30 seconds rest in between. Yeah, generally I try to train more compound exercises. You know, quite heavy on compound exercises, full body workout,
Yeah, yeah,
right? But I am incorporating a little bit more of the accessory stuff just because of athletics, to be fair. But
yeah. And what is actually then a goal of your fitness journey, if I put it that way? Like some people may have start in certain way, and then over time they progress. I started more being as a I want to be more bodybuilder, and then I was like, oh, I want to be more powerlifter, and then I was like, okay, now I'm in more functional fitness and overall athletic approach. So, what is your approach now? What is your goal in terms of fitness overall? Then,
yeah, overall fit. I just want to be physically and mentally fit. I like to stay physically and mentally fit. That's my maintenance goal, I
hmm
guess. That's what I'm going to maintain. That's my priority, right?
okay,
Expansion wise, over the next year, I like to gain 5 kilo or so. Yeah, gain a good 3 to 5 kilo. We will
hmm
see how it adjusts, but I want to get that. I like to keep it at quite a lean level, so I don't really like to like bulk really fast.
mm.
I like to keep it at like a kind of a lean level. So I like to be able to see my abs and this and that. You know, just feel personally. I mean, I don't show it to anyone else. I just personally, well, my partner sees it, but I just personally, I just like to have the abs. It just feels, I feel strong. I feel healthy. Like you know, seeing that.
So,
I'm not
uh-huh.
saying that's a marker for everybody else, but for me, it just feels good to have that. So, um, it's getting sort of where it's getting a bit more filled out now. So I'll probably
Uh-huh.
bulk, you know, eat a little bit more for a bit longer, and I'll trim down for a bit, and then we'll see where we get to. But yeah, looking 70, gain 5 kilos,
Yeah.
3 to 5 kilo.
Wow. Sounds pretty like it's nice that you have set goals. So you know what you're expecting, you know what is your goal around. So I guess that make it way easier, right? Your entire fitness journey when you know what you want. And this is just the let's say the finish line or the final goal, and then you start getting there to that. So what it would be for a person that just is new to working out, what they should focus on as a first when you're total beginner, you don't know what to do. I guess hiring personal trainer would be one thing, or what else to do? Follow a program as well, or build up your own program based on YouTube?
Absolutely depends on the person. So if you are just starting on your fitness journey and you would like to, it really depends on your struggles and where you are. Like, is are your nutrition habits together? Like,
Hmm.
if your starting thing is your nutrition is pretty good, you just want to increase it a little bit and get to the gym, get muscle, whatever. Just start building the foundational stuff like the exercises, the regular training.
Mm-hmm.
Simple program to get started, not trying to do too intense right away, but building that with time as you build a foundation,
Mm-hmm.
reduce the risk of injury there, which means you can maintain it longer. So don't try and build up too fast. Start steady, build a foundation, and build up. Of course, if your nutrition is absolutely out of hand, that's what you should. I mean, you should do simple exercise to get you started,
Mm-hmm.
but the focus should be on the nutrition.
So you don't need that much of exercise, and you need to focus more on the basics, just the sleep and nutrition. Yeah, them to make the most basic, the biggest difference. Then.
It depends. Like I believe yes, sleep is beneficial. However, I don't believe in skipping exercise to sleep.
Mm. What would that mean
Reduce the
exactly?
workout, maybe 30 minutes an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. You don't have to do 2 hours. You don't have to do 3 hours. Um, you do 30 minutes to an hour, but I'm saying don't like because you want to get the, if you've got a busy job and you've got a busy life, because you want to get 8 9 hours, skip a workout.
Mm.
Like you need to do some physical conditioning. So I believe there's even if it's 30 minutes, it's an hour. Always make time for that physical training, even if it means you only get 6 to 7 hours, right? 6 to 7 hours exercise and then nutrition
Mm-hmm.
is going to be better than 8 to 9 hours nutrition but no exercise.
That makes sense. So then, from your perspective, the diet would be the main thing, right? Because you do eat most of the time a day. You're into that throughout the day, weeks, months. So that's the thing that makes the biggest difference,
Yeah,
sort
but
of.
I don't mean like for that. I don't mean that you leave out the exercise because it's
Mm-hmm.
so important.
Yeah, of
State,
course.
as we say, state, right? So feeling good, progressing, state. It's all them habits are gonna influence each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mean leave it out. I just mean don't necessarily put so much focus in growing it, spending 3 hours in the gym or training really hard when you've just started,
Mm-hmm.
so you're not recovering, you're feeling crappy, and then maybe you even eat more worse, right? So
Could be, yeah.
put the focus on the first priority is creating the habit of getting to the gym regular, keeping it simple,
Mm-hmm.
optimizing nutrition, and rather than focusing straight away on right what calories, protein, fats do we need. First, what you want to focus on is water intake is the baseline.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the right amount. It could be
Okay.
anywhere from 2 to 4, maybe even 5. It really depends on the person, weight, body weight, stuff like that. Or I'm going to get on a calculator, water calculator, right?
Mm.
Because you can find out how much you should be taking, whether you're the weather, your activity level, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But water intake is the basic foundation, and then it's just eating quality foods.
Mm.
Then you can look at optimizing the macros if you want to, right?
Okay.
But quality, making sure that at least 80% of your diet is quality.
Okay.
20%, maybe you've got a bit of flexibility there. But it really depends, like I say, on your level of addiction to these things, right?
That's true. That's true. And mentally, how they make you feel better or worse as well. Because something unhealthy can make me feel basically just temporary better, but over the long term, make me feel worse because I can see that my body's changing the way I don't want to. It's just the food. Sometimes you can have the unhealthy relationship with the food, right? As well.
Absolutely, yeah. And and that I think is the biggest point there is tailor it to you. Tailor it to you. Like what do you want? Do you know yourself? What are your biggest struggles? What you're likely to fall back on? What you're likely to be able to commit to consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Tailor it to you, and if it helps, if you need that, many people, they've gone through the process of going back, going back. So if a coach would benefit,
Mm-hmm.
get a coach. Don't be like, no, I've got it this time. I've got it this time. Because if you keep telling yourself that every time,
Next
the
time.
chances are you might benefit from that support. Even if it's just to get you started, give you that foundation, give you that new way of thinking. Or I know, and if you can't afford a coach, learning every day. Start
Mm-hmm.
learning it. If you haven't got a coach, you need to learn.
That's true because the coach
Yeah.
already has the knowledge and everything. So basically, you're paying for his time that he had to learn all his knowledge,
Exactly.
really,
There's plenty of
and
free
help you
content
out.
online. Information is
Yeah.
available. You just got to use it. We've got to learn it.
It's just, again, time. Time is money. Money is
Yeah.
time. So that makes sense for that
But
perspective,
time,
really.
time is energy, and you've got to invest into the things that are important to you. And your health, mental and physical, is obviously, I believe, is so important and has to be a priority. Again, fill your own cup, use the overflow. After that,
I love the message. I really do, mate.
awesome. Thank you.
All we have spoken today about. Do you have actually any message or anything you'd like to tell people out there?
So if you haven't started your health and fitness journey yet, now is the time to start. Make it an obsession. Make it a journey. Make it an identity change. Commit to it. Just make it the most important priority in your life over everything, because that controls your mental, physical health, controls everything. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're sick inside, That's all you experience. You can have it will impact your relationships directly, because how you feel controls your confidence, it controls how you communicate, ultimately controls your relationships. So it will take every area. If you don't make your health and fitness important, it will take every area of your life. So make it an absolute priority. Obsess over it. Go on a journey. It's the best thing. Like, you won't regret it. So places where you can find me if you want to check out the content or you want to speak to me about anything. I am on Instagram at Coach Daniel Sellers. It will be tagged in the comment in the description below. So yeah, check it out.
All right, guys. Thank you once again for being here today. I really enjoyed this episode with Daniel, episode number 2. There was a lot of great information, a lot of advices and experiences. I really hope you're going to find that to be very useful, maybe even apply it to yourself. By all means, you can go check out Daniel's Instagram. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. Also, if you haven't seen the previous episode, number 1, go and check it out. It's out there already. And don't forget, as always, like, share, subscribe, follow, all those things, yeah? Thank you, my audience, for being here. And I'd like to give a shout out to people that I have learned so much from, whether their knowledge, their habits, their consistency, and people that inspire me to do this podcast, such as the Joe Rogan Experience, Trade Sports Science, Garage Gym Reviews, Josh Brett, Athlean X, Peter Attia Drive Podcast, Renaissance Periodization, Vitruvian Physique, Reduxe, Jeff Nippert, Paul Sklar, Alan Thrall, JTM Fit, Omar Isaf, David Goggins, Jocko Willing, and Matthew Walker. Please go check their content, their books, their information, and try to learn the best from it for you. Thank you, and remember, be active.